and gentlemen, welcome back to Dork Entertainment. We've got another cracking video for you today. I've got Samit here with me, and we've got the Batman spoiler discussion. Ooh. So the other video we had, of course, the non-spoiler review, so please check that out if you haven't seen the movie yet. If you have gone and watched the movie and you want to listen to our ramblings on the Batman, continue on with this video. So just another warning, there's spoiler discussion in this video.
Yeah,
so
spoilers. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. So our ratings, we'll just go over the ratings again. I gave this 8 out of 10 for me. Great movie.
And I gave it a 9. It's one of the great Batman movies.
Yeah. So straight off the bat, with the spoilers, I just want to quickly go over the Batman story.
Yeah.
So this is year 2 of the Batman. So it's a very young Batman.
Yeah.
And they just pretty much goes through, the story of his past as well in this, which is a very important role in, of course, every Batman movie. But they go into a lot of detail about Bruce Wayne and the corruption surrounding Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne wasn't corrupt, but there was a lot of corruption surrounding Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, and I guess
So not Bruce Wayne, sorry, his father.
Oh, Thomas Wayne, yeah.
Thomas Wayne, yes.
Yeah, and it's just, I guess you probably saw in the trailer, the sins of the father goes on to the son, and a lot of that is in this movie. Like a lot of the mistakes we see that Thomas Wayne makes with and we're just spoilers so we can discuss it all. Thomas Wayne basically turns to Falcone at a time of need because he's trying to cover up Martha Wayne's admittance into Arkham Asylum.
Falcone, the Falcon.
Like he's just trying to. Thomas Wayne turns to him to try scare a reporter to not post that, and then Falcone ends up murdering that person.
So that's the cover up.
That's the cover up. But it's just from there, I guess that's the main plot point, and it just sort of. A lot of the stories revolved around that and the consequences of what happens with that, right?
Yeah, and there's a bit of a twist, which you guys, if you've seen the movie, you probably know that Catwoman is the daughter of Falcone.
Yeah.
And she tries to kill him.
Yes.
So, of course, it starts off with the mayor of Gotham. He gets murdered, of course, we know, by the Riddler. And
that's a cool scene, isn't it?
Awesome.
Like how the mayor's just watching TV and then like he walks around and the Riddler's there. You're like, oh shit!
Yeah, in the background, he's there.
He's just standing behind the.
It's like horror psychopath type portrayal in that.
And it's pretty like it pushes that PG-13 rating.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of brutality in it. I mean, I guess.
When I heard it was PG-13, I thought, oh man, this isn't going to be as good.
No, they really push it.
Brutality is there. Like they've done like their tricks, with certain scenes. Like with the lighting and with certain shots where they don't show everything, but you don't notice it because you just focus on the brutality of it all.
Yeah.
Some of the ways Riddler kills his victims. It's almost like, it's brutal, like a PG-13 movie. And for what they showed, it was pretty good.
And like there's one thing I want to touch on is the visceralness of this Batman.
Yeah. It's
the way the thing I like about this Batman, and we've sort of discussed, comparing it to Nolan's Nolan's Batman, Christian Bale's, like, this Batman, when he fights, it feels like an actual fight.
Yeah.
Like he's actually punching people. He's getting hit himself. It actually feels like a proper fight.
Yeah.
Christian Bale's one feels like it feels like choreography. Yeah. Right. It feels like he's punching him, and then Bane's gonna punch him, and then he's gonna punch, like it just feels like and that's okay because it suits that style of film. This one is very much. Down on the streets of Gotham, he's just punching people, getting shot at. Like it's really realistic.
Yeah. So of course, Batman in this movie, there's a lot more of his investigative side.
Yeah.
And there is action. Don't sort of think it's just investigation. There is action, and like Samit was talking about a bit earlier, like it's brutal. It is really gritty, and it's not just like he uses his weapon and he kills the bad guy. He full on, he's punching them in the face non-stop. Like this is like, you know, like real life, like a Batman who is in his younger age and he hasn't figured out everything and he's just like, you know, gets in there and he just punches and kicks.
He really like doesn't pull his punches at all.
There's two of my favorite scenes in this movie. I've got to say, one is the big opening scene.
Yes.
In the subway, the fight that he has with those goons.
Yeah.
And when he just, you know, the beginning of Batman, like he comes out of the shadows. He talks about being in the shadows. When he comes out of the shadows, that is a brilliant scene.
That is a moment. And that's made even better because, like, in that scene, you will see how, like, you know, the criminals fear him and they fear him and they're looking into the shadows of wherever they are. And they're getting scared. There's a horror aspect to it. It feels like a horror movie at that point. Yeah. And then, like, when he finally comes out of the shadows and
you just feel like
confronting that group, like, oh, man, it's just like...
That's awesome.
The adrenaline in those scenes, it really does kick up for a viewer because it's just it's very nuanced in the way it's done its action. I gotta say, Matt Reeves has done a really good job.
Yeah.
It doesn't overdo it. He doesn't like. There isn't like a little of it. It's just it's done to the right amount and services the plot.
Yeah.
Which like I say is the most interesting thing about this movie as well is the plot, how it just sort of goes from one end to the other, zigzags around, and there's so many twists and turns.
Yeah. My second favorite scene as well is an action scene as well with Batman when he's in the tunnel, the lights are out, and there's goons with guns there.
Yeah, we saw that trailer. Yeah,
it's in the trailer. That looks so good. The sound in that scene and the lighting in that scene is absolutely brilliant.
Actually, one thing when you talk about the brutality aspect of it was at the end when he gets that shot of adrenaline. Oh. Now, that to me reminded me of the Arkham games, right? Because in the Arkham games, you can get that sort of rage, and then you really just punch like crazy. And
he's down and out. He's almost
he's done at the end there. Like it looks like he's done. Like he was shot with a shotgun.
And he pumps himself.
Yeah, he pumps himself, and like he just can't stop punching this guy in the face.
The scream he yells out, and you're like, whoa, jeez! And then he just
people behind him are like, whoa.
Yeah, he's like punching into that guy, like, oh my god, what was that?
That's the type of Batman I'd like to see, like that rage-filled, just really out of control one as well. Like sometimes he gets out of control. That's cool to see.
One thing I got to say with this Batman is I like how, because they're going for that realistic, gritty, dark type of movie, right? I've noticed in other Batman movies, Batman always gets there in time or just before time and stops whatever is going to happen. What I love about this movie is Batman comes like in realistic time, like if he's far away in one scene, things start happening somewhere else. He's not automatically there all of a sudden.
No, it takes time. Yeah.
Like the finale, right? The bombs go off, right, in Gotham. And he's not there where the mayor is and everything's happening there. But he gets there after. And even some of the crime scenes earlier on, he's not there to stop it. Like he gets there after at that point. Because I think in the beginning he also says something about how he can't be everywhere at once as well. Yeah. So he's got to pick his battles.
His battles and... Pick the people he goes after.
Yeah. And in this, the big difference I like about in this movie is he's actually in there with the police investigating the crime scene.
I like the tension as well.
There's a lot of tension between the police.
The police and Batman. Just they don't like him at all.
Because he's still seen as like a vigilante.
Yeah, and like he's in his second year and they're probably like, who the hell's this guy in a bat suit? What the hell?
They call him freak, vigilante, like he's just...
And that's cool, the scene where like he wakes up in the police station and like he's fighting with all those police officers and then he's like and then Gordon helps him out.
There's like 50 cops in there.
Yeah, and like the way he escapes the police station and then where he gets to the top and then he has to fly. And I like that hesitancy that he has. I was like, oh shit, wait, it's very high. But like it's high to drop down and like but then it shows that he's a young Batman. He's not going to just get to the top and be like, yeah, I'm flying off. Like, no, he's a young Batman. He's still learning all this. And that's what I like about it. Like, it's a realistic take on Batman. And I think, you know, we think that the Nolan ones were realistic. This is on another level of real.
It's very dark. That's what I love about this. It's very dark, very gritty, very noir. Like, it's... I've got to say, before we move on to anything, huge spoiler here, massive spoiler. secret character reveal in this movie. Oh my god, huge spoiler. I'm giving you a fair warning. There is a small tiny cameo from the Joker.
Oh man, I was out of my seat.
And you don't you do see see his face slightly. You don't see a full on, because it's behind the door.
Yeah.
But you recognize the voice straight away. You recognize the laugh.
Yeah, this is Barry Keoghan, the guy from Eternals.
Yes.
And man, he, when you hear him talk, man, it is reminding me of those Arkham games. It really, this is what, the Arkham, it will remind you, this whole movie, of a lot of the Arkham games, because there's a lot of visceralness in those games. But man, the Joker is what I want out of a Joker.
Yeah, and if they continue with this series, they've set it up in a way where he will eventually appear at some point.
Yeah, and that's another thing actually we didn't talk about in the non-spoiler review was, I feel like they are setting this Batman for Batman,
a few movies.
Yeah, it'll be a trilogy, but I even think it's going to go beyond that. I feel like they want Robert Pattinson to be their Robert Downey Jr. For the DC universe. They want him to be like a 10-year sort of thing. That's what I reckon.
So pretty much Affleck is out the door, right?
Yeah. Affleck's last appearance will be in The Flash, and then I'm guessing he's getting replaced by Michael Keaton. That's what Michael Keaton's in Batgirl.
He was serviceable, I've got to say. Batfleck.
Yeah, I wasn't really much of a fan of Batfleck.
I didn't hate him, but he was serviceable.
I didn't hate him, and I understood that he was in bad movies. And there could have been something real. I'm hearing a lot about Ben Affleck's script that he had for the Batman, which would have been incredible.
Well, we saw the big difference, I've got to say, in Batman in the Justice League. The way the original script, the script, the movie that came out initially.
Yeah, the theatrical cut and the
Snyder cut.
The Snyder cut,
like all the cheesy lines he had in the original, and then that was pretty much all gone, and it was much better in the Snyder cut. So,
yeah, but still, I just don't feel the character felt very true to Batman in a way that Robert Pattinson has got it here.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson, young second-year Batman, gets it down pat, I think.
Yeah, and it just... Yeah, it's the truest incarnation of the Batman I feel it's ever been on film. So
and what's great about showing a year 2 Batman is he's still struggling. It's very raw, like things that have happened with his parents, and that shows in his portrayal of Batman. Like he's
and that's another thing. Like we didn't see everyone complains about we've seen the scene of Martha and Thomas Wayne getting murdered so many times and we don't want to see it again. So they don't show it here, and it's not really an origin story for Batman. It's kind of an origin story for the villains in a way.
Yeah,
if you think about it, because the Penguin sort of coming into his own. The Riddler is a young Riddler as well. That
scene. I got to say, another character, the Batmobile.
Oh man, that's so cool!
Like the Penguin chase scene, that is nuts.
That is brutal. That is on another level of brutal. It's got to be the most brutal.
You have to watch this in the cinema for that scene. The sound and visuals in that is crazy.
Dolby Atmos cinema if you can.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, but you're right. I think it does set it up for a lot of the villains in this movie. I was going to say Falcone, but Falcone dies.
Yeah.
But Catwoman, she's...
Yeah, and I said in a non-spoiler review, I wasn't a fan of Catwoman in this movie. I just felt like she was just...
Catwoman, she's sort of half... In the original Catwoman, she's not exactly a hero. It's sort of like an anti-hero type sort of character, Catwoman. But this one, she was more towards like a good sort of character.
Well, that's the thing, right? She's an anti-hero, but I just never really got that vibe in this movie. It just felt...
The only thing was she was stealing money.
She was stealing money, but then, I don't know, I just felt like she wasn't... Not that she wasn't portrayed well, I just don't think... Maybe she wasn't written well in this movie.
Possibly.
It felt like she was forced in and...
Could it be a last minute?
Could be. I mean, it could be that they wanted Zoe Kravitz in this somehow. But it also could be the fact that I just don't think Catwoman has been done right in movies yet. I just feel like they haven't really got it right, Catwoman. I didn't like Anne Hathaway's that much. and
Michelle
Michelle Pfeiffer, definitely not Halle Berry's, but
Halle Berry as well, wasn't it?
yeah, that was we don't talk about that. But yeah, I just don't think she was all that important to the story at all. I mean, I guess the love interest, but it just like even the love interest stuff. A lot of people are like, oh, dying over the camera. I just don't think they have that much chemistry, Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz. But we got to talk about Paul Dano as the Riddler.
Yeah, brilliant.
Mate.
Psychopath. Brilliant.
Psychopath. Mate, that's an understatement. He was scary. It's terrifying. Like, I'm just going to put this out there. Like, the way that they got him there, like, the way that he portrayed this, when he gets caught and then he's talking to the Batman, the psychological aspect of this movie where you're thinking like Batman, right? Because he's narrating the story and you're like, because Batman at this point thinks that the Riddler knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
And you can see it on Batman's face.
Yeah, you can see it on his face. You're like,
he's like, crap.
And like, he's looking at the camera that's recording this right here in Arkham Asylum. And he's like, oh shit, I'm done. Right? But then he keeps saying Bruce Wayne. And he's like, yeah, we'll get Bruce Wayne together.
And then his demeanor just changes. He's like, what have you done? Like, oh my God, that's a crazy scene.
But yeah, back to Paul Dano, mate. Like, no, that scene is chilling. I felt the DNA of the Riddler character was there, right? It's a very dark take on the Riddler, but the DNA of the character is there. And that's when you know that like a character has been portrayed well, is if the DNA of the character is there. He's still doing riddles. And I liked, some people may not have liked, but I liked the end where he influenced people through social media. And that's the scary part of this. That's what felt like real time, the times that we're in right now. Where
there's like 500
followers, but he manipulated them. He manipulated their minds, like Jim Carrey's Riddler does in the other one with the,
yeah.
Plugger. Like, this is a more darker version of that. Like, he's using social media to manipulate people's minds, and that's the scary part for me in this. Like, man, that type of stuff happens all the time, and to see it happen in a Batman movie is genius to me.
While we're talking about other characters, quick shout out to even the smallest characters did so well in this. Like, there's Andy Serkis is in this as well.
Yeah, Alfred. Yeah,
Alfred did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
There's the twins, the goons at the door, for Penguin's Club.
Yeah, the goons at the.
Like, it's hilarious. Like,
I love the running jokes throughout it. Like, it's funny. There are parts of this which is actually funny. Like, I can't believe it. It's such a dark movie, and there are parts of it where there is humor.
Yeah. Even the other characters, like the mayor, the DA, they played their roles really well as well. Yeah. Even in small roles, but they did it really well. So overall, look, this is a really good movie. 8 out of 10 for me. The only thing I could say is that, at some point it did feel like it was going on for a little bit too long at the end. But, if you love Batman, you'll enjoy every moment of this. It's, this is a wholesome Batman movie, like young Batman, and I loved it. 8 out of 10 for me, 100%. This is a must watch in the cinema.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. It's as I said before, it's one of the best, probably is the best iteration of Batman. I mean, the detective aspect is there. We've got a terrifying villain in Paul Dano's Riddler, and it's action packed still. It's still action packed. It is action packed. I mean, the action scenes when they come, it's very visceral, and your adrenaline is pumping when those action scenes come. But it's such a great movie, and definitely got to be seen in Dolby Atmos, my friend. Yeah.
Before we go, just got to say we got some Batman merchandise here. A cup finally from Event Cinema.
There's some custom sort of cup there. It's done pretty well.
But it's nicely engraved as well. I don't know if you can see it on the screen there, but there's the picture's actually engraved. You see Batman and the Batmobile. And, of course, the general popcorn. They didn't go with a tin this time. But it's been a while since we've been to the cinema, and it's good to get something. Yeah, it's good. It's good to go back, and people are loving going back to the cinema with Spider-Man No Way Home. And now we've got the Batman, which I think is going to make a boatload of money. Yes, definitely. Check it out in the cinema if you can, because it is an awesome viewing experience in the cinema. Dolby Atmos, Meet was saying.
Definitely.
100%. So, yeah, let us know once you do watch it what you thought of this movie in the comments below, and what you thought of our review as well, and our spoiler and non-spoiler review in the other video.
Yeah.
Please like the video, share it if you can, subscribe to the channel because we appreciate all of your support, and we shall see you in the next video. Peace.
Peace. I'm vengeance.